And welcome to the May 12th, 2015 Town Board meeting for the Town of Ossining. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Blaha?
Present.
Councilman Wilshire? Present. Councilman Harder? Present. Councilwoman Jeffrey?
Present.
And Supervisor Donnelly.
Present.
This evening we have 3 public hearings, and we will begin with public hearing in the matter of the 2015 cabaret license for the Briarcliff Manor featuring Antipas di Napoli Restaurant and Bar.
No, you can go to that mic there, okay, if you don't mind.
Good evening. I'm Louis Spizzero. I'm the attorney for the applicant.
Okay,
My right is Mr. DiNapoli, who is the principal of the applicant.
okay.
We have an application for a cabaret license consistent with town regarding 52 Hill Road in Briarcliff.
And you understand all the rules and
We
regulations?
do.
Madam Clerk?
Is there anyone that has come to address this issue?
Can I just remember what time and the...
You have it with you, Marion?
Was it different for the week and the weekends?
It was, my understanding of the stipulation was it was no music before 4 p.m. and no music after midnight.
Right.
That, I mean...
And entirely inside, of
Correct.
course,
Inside only.
Okay,
needless to say.
that's
Come
fine.
a long way with that, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine, Mary.
Yeah.
Thank you, Clerk.
Is there anyone here that wants to speak about the cabaret license?
Not seeing one, may I have a motion to close this public hearing?
Motion to close the public hearing.
All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you,
Opposed?
sirs.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Did I?
We've come a long way.
Yeah.
And good luck.
Our second,
So let me just say one
I was
thing.
gonna say-
So you're open right now Wednesday through Saturday? Through Sunday?
Wait, what,
Oh, yeah, why don't you
why
say,
don't you
give
say
yourself
that
a
to
little
the
plug?
camera on the...
Briarcliff Manor featuring Antipasti di Napoli, Trattoria and Bar, and we are open Wednesday through Sunday from 5 p.m. till closing. On Sunday, we'll be serving brunch to the public. Available for parties morning, noon, and night. I have some little flyers.
Oh,
left to
great.
leave them.
Maybe some of our guests
I'll
today would
pass
like.
them out.
Okay.
Thank you all very much.
Just so anybody that wants to question it, it is the old Haymont House, the old Maison Lafitte, and various ones in between. So, very good. Good luck to you. We were there the other night. It was very nice. Thank you.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll move on to the public hearing in the matter of the community choice aggregation.
I don't believe the gentleman's here for that, so we just wanted to, we didn't really have to have a public hearing on this. This is about deciding as a community that we did not want the residents that were still on Con Ed to stay on Con Ed pricing if we could group buy electricity and gas, which was a very important aspect. As a community, we're part of Sustainable Westchester, which is 40 communities out of 45, approximately 45 communities in Westchester County, and we do a lot of environmental and energy programs together. So this is just one of them. We just wanted to see if anyone had any questions on it, but we will discuss it again next Tuesday. Oh, yes, ma'am. Please give your name.
Daria Gregg at 51 Old Albany Post Road. I've read a little bit about it, but not in relation to the town of Ossining.
Okay.
So does that mean that you would have a group rate, and then everybody in the town of Ossining would partake in that? Or just certain, like sometimes it's just town of Ossining's public municipal buildings? Or is it going to be every resident?
It's going to be everyone that stayed on Con Ed billing. You know when they gave you the option when they deregulated Con Ed, and you could go to the option of going to one of Con Ed's environmental groups
okay.
or some other group? Like I signed up to go to another group. But the people, it would automatically bring over the people from the Con Ed group, but you could opt out of it and go back to Con Ed at any time. What they're trying to do
We
is,
would have available, see the rate differences.
absolutely, and so what they're trying to do is guarantee a rate that would be less than the traditional Con Ed, which is just about, if you add all of your numbers together, 28 cents a kilowatt, which is very, very expensive. So they're trying to get enough municipalities together to do that. The village has signed on, or the village of Ossining has signed on already to it. So we just wanted to see. And we'll put some more information out, and we'll talk about it one more time next Tuesday.
You'll put that in the newspaper, too?
Yes.
Is there any, oh, Michael.
On this issue, I'm years ago, I changed Michael
you are?
O'Connor, 36 Ferris Place, Con Edison supplies me. Did you say that we're going to be moved over and that we have to opt out if we don't want this?
You would have, if this was to take place, which means enough municipalities gathered together so that you could have a reduced rate, Con Ed would still deliver your electricity, you would still see a Con Ed bill. It would just be that you would not be buying your electricity directly from Con Ed. You would get plenty of notice so you could opt out and go back to Con Ed if you chose to.
Okay. I want to make a statement, and this is important. All right. I'm a former Con Edison employee. I actually worked when I came back from Vietnam, and I started with Con Edison in 1966, and I went from substation maintenance, and I went over to distribution engineering, where actually I planned and analyzed the distribution load in parts of the Bronx. That these companies are making money on our backs. In other words, when they deregulated the electrical industry in this nation, all right, these companies are making money on our backs. Why can't we, and this is not you, Sue, the
Yeah,
board,
I
I mean,
totally get it.
nothing against you. This is those people in Washington that came up with this idea. And they were going to save us money. And all these companies arose, and they're making money. Their CEOs, their boards are making a fortune out of this. And nobody is screaming and saying, why didn't we just cut the rates for us without going through all of this minutia, you know? And we're here stuck. We're trying to figure out how we can make a better deal when, why didn't we do something from the beginning? Why did all these other companies become necessary for us to save money?
This is the first time, excuse me, I
yeah.
don't want to interrupt you, Michael, or anything.
No, it's okay.
This is the first time that community choice aggregation was allowed in New York State. It works in other states very well. It's the ability to buy power. Con Ed might be one of the bidders on the power. It's just making it a more of an open market. We hear you.
Yeah.
Con Ed has a, they have a terrible time supplying power to everyone too, you know, and so.
Well, that's, you know, these people are not producing the energy. They're not supplying the energy. They're like parasites living off of us to make money.
Okay.
And that's all I want to say.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Now, am I to understand that you would like to hold this public hearing over?
No, we're just, you don't really even have to have a public hearing on this. We just wanted to let people speak, as Mr. O'Connor and the young lady did. So what we just want to do is we'll just close the public hearing and we'll talk about it one more time we'll put it on our work session agenda next week.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, may I have a motion?
And Michael will be at that too.
To close this public hearing.
There's a motion?
A motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And our third public hearing and final.
I'm
one-
sorry, we just finished it. We only had one comment. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, my gosh. I'm so sorry. I didn't think you were going to come because I knew you were on tight. Oh. I'll call you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Those are our representatives from Sustainable Westchester that go around, and they have to be at another meeting in 10 minutes. So they were supposed to be here at 7:30, so they could be out of here by 7:45, and we had this whole schedule thing. That's why I kept looking at the door. Okay?
We'll
So-
move on to our third and final public hearing in the matter of local law number 3, 2015, amendments to the no parking regulations in the town of Ossining.
Michael, you want to speak first?
All right. Michael O'Connor, Superintendent of Highways, Town of Ossining. To our audience and to the people watching here, to the supervisor and town board. I have been looking at our parking regulations for some time, and have been reviewing everything about it and analyzing our streets and how it looks. I brought this information to the town supervisor and then, of course, to the town board, and then we have met on several occasions to review all of these things and to review the information that I brought back. We found, obviously, mistakes that were made in the coding, the legislation of the no parking regulations. Nothing is perfect, but we're going to address those things. But on the and analyzing the flow of traffic and the parking and everything else, I brought forth to the town board, to you, to suggested amendments to some of the items that are listed in our ordinances for no parking regulations. Besides the clerical errors that were made there and the redundancies of one of the streets and everything else, we looked at this in light of some of the situations that have been occurring in various sections of the town, particularly the northwestern part, where we had a lot of people coming in, parking all over the road, trying to get down to the Croton River. We had a lot of issues there. The state police, the county police, local, everybody was involved in this. Several towns were involved in the situation. So as we looked at all of this, we brought forth a proposal for some of the no parking regulations. I want to make it clear that the vast majority of the town roads have none regulations on parking, nor do we wish to suggest or impose any additional regulations that is going to pick that up. So most of the roads in the town of Ossining, our town roads, are going to remain as they were without any no parking regulations. What we did was analyze how the functionality of our roads go, and in clarifications of what they are, we decide, I made these things up, and that is that we have arterial roads, roads that span the entire unincorporated area, from the village line to the town line on the other end, which is always at the other end is the town of Newcastle. And it could be the village of Ossining or the village of Briarcliff, and how it functions as an arterial road to get emergency vehicles, fire trucks, ambulances, garbage trucks, our own vehicles, back and forth. And we did all of this. Now, the suggestion is that because all of these roads have double yellow lines. Now, when you put down a double yellow line, you're making a legal statement. You're saying that you must stay within the confines of this lane. Unfortunately, it does at times bring people to go a little faster because they think they're safe within these double lines and the fog line on the right, And it does in itself, because we can't control those things. People do, drive a little faster at times. And we have a wonderful seasoned police officer over here that can attest to that, because I'm sure he's been to enough traffic seminars. So what we've done is we've brought in, we've suggested changes. Some is the removal of actually some of the codes. We have almost 45 streets that end in cul-de-sacs. We have roads that are connector roads that join two geographical areas or two types of roads together, and we analyzed all of these things. So I brought together tonight in conjunction with, our dialogue with the board, yourself, and what we're proposing tonight is the result of all of that dialogue. I hope that there's people here that it's going to speak about those things. We always welcome that. We welcome, what they're going to say, how they think it's going to impact them. And I'm prepared to discuss all of those things, whatever the comments are and whatever it is. So I think I've said enough for now, and I will relinquish the podium to anybody that wants to come up and question what it is in the methodology that we undertook.
So I think what we'll do for tonight, there seems to be quite a few people that are going to speak on this. I think what we'll do tonight is listen to the comments. take them in, see look at it again next week, when we close the public hearing. That's what a public hearing is all about, is to get the input from the public, go back and review what you've put together, and then and then we'll see where we are with the law. So let's let these nice folks talk and tell us about where they live, and I'll bet many of them live on Old Albany Post Road.
Okay.
Some of the streets that we're changing to no parking, as Mr. O'Connor was saying, are pretty much no-brainers. So who would like to go first? You need to come to the mic, say your name and address, and then give us your statement.
I'm Lynn Beekman, 59 Old Albany Post Road. You just said that the double yellow line is a qualifier as a matter of...
You need to talk into the mic.
As a matter of...
it's only for the camera,
As a
though.
matter of traffic safety. I happen to take a daily walk around the neighborhood. I usually go up Ogden Road, where there's a double yellow line, and the residents of the condominiums have been granted a accommodation for their overflow. Not for their necessity, but for their overflow, because I'm sure most of them, if not all of them, have at least one parking space available to them. So it's my assumption, and I'm welcome for anybody to correct me, that parking that's been granted to them is overflow and just a matter of convenience. Now, when I walk up that hill, the cars are parked on the side of the road that's facing downhill. There are, 6 to 8 to 10 cars parked there every evening. And when I'm walking up the hill, there are many speeding cars that come down the hill. And they not only have to go around the parked cars, but they have to go so far around them that they are in the opposite side of the road. So I can't imagine that the double yellow line is the qualifier, if that's...
Okay, I just wanted, and not that this is not being taken in, because you know that the Ossining Police take care of the village and the unincorporated part of the town, but Ogden Road is in the village of Ossining. It's not that we're trying to pass the buck or anything, but the good lieutenant, I saw him writing diligently over there, and it's the same thing should be taken into consideration. If there's not enough room on the road to have parked cars and to have two-way traffic, especially when we have to have emergency vehicles out there, then that's when we run into an issue.
As I parked my car out front, I noticed getting out of the car, I almost got hit. It's a 2-lane road, parking on both sides.
Right.
It's tighter than Old Albany Post Road, for sure. And, I just wanted to kind of bring those kind of things to your attention.
Well, thank you very much.
Because it's, just kind of seems like, to convenience some people who may have a hard time or don't want to slow down a little bit to drive past our neighbors, kind of doesn't weigh as much as the negative impact that it would have on our neighbors. Because
And you physically live on Old Albany Post Road? Okay.
Yeah. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very annoying.
Daria Gregg at 51 Old Albany Post Road. I have moved there in '85, and I never saw a written law, but the law that I was told was that you can only park on the Croton River side of the road in Crotonville, and you have to have 2 wheels off the road. And as long as you did that, you were okay. I brought some pictures. 3 pictures, which were taken this morning at 7 o'clock, and you will see everybody has their 2 wheels off the road or inside. You have the road.
Oh, we know it very well, ma'am.
You have the yellow lines, and then you have the white lines on the edges.
Right.
Everybody has their wheels inside the white lines,
Right.
meaning off, basically off the thoroughfare.
Right.
And between the two, white lines in front of my house, that's 21 feet and 9 inches. So I think that's enough room. And honestly, if there's a huge fire truck coming down the road, if they go over the yellow lines a little bit, I don't think the police are going to go after him, really.
The huge fire truck, they're never going to go after them. Oh, yeah?
But I'm going to complain about another issue.
Okay.
So Mr. O'Connor had said, well, you got the 2 double lines. That means people are going to feel like they're safe and they're going to speed. Yes, they do speed. They speed on that road. I have complained to him a couple of times in the fall. How come you're not picking up the leaves? And he says it's because I got to have special men out there to protect them because the cars come down there at 50 miles an hour. And so he can't pick up his leaves without having a whole detail there to protect the men. I mean, let's go after the speeders, is what I have to say.
Thank you, ma'am. And could you just give the clerk anything that you have, if you have a written statement or anything, please give it to the clerk when you're done, okay? Who else would like to talk?
Karen Appleby, 49A Old Albany Post Road. I think in this issue, and maybe you weren't really aware of how many of the houses do not have any parking. And so if they were to park somewhere else, that would mean walking on the street and in either direction. If you Burlick Park, really dangerous. I walked that once and said I will never walk that again because I had my dog with me and I was terrified that she would get hit. If it was a small child and I had to do that every day, that would seem pretty bad. In the opposite direction, there is also a turn and it has no shoulders, no sidewalks. You have to walk the road. It's also a blind corner. Cars come speeding around there. So change our parking, move us to, in either direction means walking in the street on blind corners in what I would consider, fairly dangerous and would not really be, it might make emergency trucks easier to get there, but it would not make our safety better. It would make our safety significantly worse. And obviously, and some accommodation would have to be made since there are several houses that have no option of other places to park. So we have to park somewhere. And however far away it is, we're walking, and that means we're on the road. I understand that, emergency vehicle access is important, but, I look around in Ossining and on our busiest road, like Croton Avenue, there are cars parked. Look at Terrytown, and every single one of their business roads have cars parked on both sides. Go to Manhattan, have cars parked. And I think that the police and the fire departments, they can get there. Snow removal is probably, I would think, the biggest issue because then they would really like to get in close, and I don't quite know how that can be handled with the car, because if we have no other place to park, we have to park somewhere, and obviously that's going to be in the way of the snowplow trucks. So I don't know if we could switch side. Well, we can't switch sides of the street because the other side is totally.
That's very scary.
But anyway, I guess what I'm saying is that if we don't have sidewalks, the parking sort of needs to be fairly close to where the houses are. There are areas where I think it could be widened, and I do have also some pictures like Daria's, where you can see that everybody parks as far over as they can. And actually, with a lot of these, well, it's all the same photo, but I just made a copy for everybody. They really only have about 1 foot in the road, which is actually not even in, as she said, it's on the white line, so it's not in the part of the road where people actually drive. If it was just made a little bit wider, they could be totally off the road and close to their homes and wouldn't have to, walk so far without sidewalks. And I think putting the sidewalks in, some of those houses are just so close to the road, it might be difficult. So I would love to see, parking along the road if that's possible at all, so that we could be close to our homes and not, walk. Other than that, sidewalks I think would be necessary, and there's the difficulty of where you can add those. So,
Thank you very much. If you just give that to the clerk, that would be great. Yes, Marianne.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Evelyn Garrett. I live at 45 Old Albany Post Road. I live in a house that was built in 1880s. And at that time, no one concerned about having a garage, whatever. They built close to the road. I'm lucky to have an 8-foot parking space. From the road to my porch is 8 feet. So I can pull my car in off the road. I'm very lucky in that aspect. My neighbor doesn't have that, and he'll speak to that, I'm sure, later. My concern is I won't have any parking for company. There's no place that I can have my company park. I have 8 grandchildren. I love for them to come and visit me. I have to either impose on my neighbor on this side. He has a driveway, but when they park there, then I block his access in and out of his driveway. My neighbor across the street has been kind to let me park there, but it's dangerous because it's right by the bend. You know the bend I'm talking about.
Oh, I know, well, yeah.
You can pull in and pull out,
Yeah.
but then they come speeding around. Supposed to be 30-mile-an-hour zone. They don't follow that. So you're taking your life in your hands when you pull out, and you have to do that very quickly before another car comes and hits you. So my concern is I'd like to have a spot where I can tell my company, you can park here safely.
You know, you and I had a long conversation
Yes,
on the phone,
remember.
and I will tell you that Mr. O'Connor and I went out in search of what was
Did you
available.
find one?
No,
Oh.
not that was safer. It's very dangerous. The whole road is very dangerous, and that's the problem that we're running into. We found some other issues that we took care of in the last couple of days, but you know, with houses and stuff like that. But let me ask a question to this group: how many people that have to park on Old Albany? They're all in a little cluster too. It's just a part of Old Albany Post Road. How many park with 2 wheels on the road and 2 wheels on the? Yeah, most. Yeah, because some people have dug out little cubbies, like little places
Little
to
places,
little niche to
right.
park, right?
Which I have in front of my house.
And some people have little spaces. We were there for hours, so you know, going through everything, trying to.
You know the situation.
Oh yeah, I've been up at that because we just finished the construction on the dead end, so we're up there quite often. So okay, thank you, ma'am. Anybody else?
Anybody else?
Jeff Peterson, 59 Old Albany Post Road. I think the main issue we're all missing here is the speed on that road. You have people coming from the back areas that are just no concern for anybody. Watch them. If you happen to have 2 wheels off the curb, they have to stop because someone's coming. You watch their face. They just have no patience. This is what's causing many problems. Years ago, I had asked the police chief, a very good friend of mine, about putting speed bumps in. At that time, the state would have to rule that. Who that is, but I think the real need is put some speed bumps in.
Thank you, sir. No. I think we have to listen to everybody speak, and then we can, you know.
I live in 44 Old Albany Post Road. My name is
Have
Michael Petkovich, and I have the same thing with him. It's not the parking. People speeding. I've been here. I live here for 5 years, and I've seen all the fire trucks go by, the cops go by. They really have no problems. It's just the speeders that come from up the hill coming down. And like I said, same thing with him. I think you should put speed bumps. Be much safer. And our cars are not. She lost her house, and she's off the road, you know, because they're speeding down the roads. And that's all the accidents that I seen there, is that they're speeding. That's it. There's nothing. I never seen a fire truck get caught. No, because someone's parked. Because, like I said, we're so far off the road.
Right. You would say that none of you park all 4 wheels on the road, so you're
we're
blocking
always-
the
yeah,
road, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's what we're concerned, because now, like me, like she said, I have no place to park. I
Right.
park on Crotonville Road, right across the street from my house.
Right.
And like I said, I had no problems. Like I said, and everybody can go by. And that's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm John Durkin. I live with Karen Appleby, 49A Old Albany Post Road. I'm in the same situation as the gentleman who just spoke, that I don't have any driveway to park in. I literally park right down from their cars. And I agree with what he was saying, is I've seen emergency vehicles go by, Con Ed trucks go by. They don't seem to have any problems at all. But as far as people speeding, I was actually coming home from work the night that a car came flying around the turn and went into her house. And I guess the long and short of it is I think if we could address the speeding or as the actual parking on the road, everybody is good about keeping their wheels off, not over those white lines, that might solve major.
Thank you very much. Sure.
I realize that we may end up being overruled, but between Sam Stagg Avenue and Fowler Avenue, so
That whole neighborhood is
the whole
right there.
neighborhood,
Right.
it's a tight-knit community.
Right.
Everyone has respect for one another. Everybody has their own, parking spot kind of claimed. We don't have strange people parking in front of our homes. These are our homes, and we're parking in front of them. So it's not like it's just random cars parked.
Right.
And if this is going to be something that is going to be enforced, that I would suggest that you would consider, at the very least, granting permits to the people who don't have options at all, because there are some who literally have no options.
Right.
And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a good idea. Okay, Michael?
First of all, I want to thank everybody who came tonight and talked up. Right now, currently, the no parking regulations on Old Albany Post Road is spotty. There is 5 entries in the code dealing with Old Albany Post Road, and we have various sections of it that have no parking. So it's not like there isn't any parking, no parking now. There is. It's in the code for Old Albany Post Road. Albany Post Road is not as wide a road that can accommodate, if legally, right now, they were to park on the road in those places that they could, you would be down to a 1-lane road. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the width of the road and the fact that legally, without no parking regulations, people could legally park there and now reduce the road to a 1-lane road. But no, but we have no problem. We've been out there, we looked, the supervisor and I talked about this. We have no problem with those people that are forced to have their tires out on the road, but within the fog line, that white line. If you're there, you're fine, because that fog line is our lane of traffic. So we have no problem with that at all. None. Absolutely none. And I was at your house the morning that accident occurred. I was over there. I was over there that morning to see the house and
It's
everything.
too bad, though. Yeah.
Yeah. But go ahead. They can't hear you on the TV. That's all I want you to know.
I don't think I've ever heard of a place that wanted their curbs lowered. We do have over there too, because we spent a tremendous time. A lot. We're over there a lot, but this particular in the last week, since we've had these phone conversations and we've gotten your letters and stuff, we've spent a lot of time, and we started this no parking thing. We have to be very, very careful, and we're going to have to evaluate this, because some of those higher curbs, which are just regular size curbs, are because of our drainage. We have to be very, very careful, because remember, there's a whole group of people underneath, well, your house is buried down there. Right, because it's all about the drainage. Right. And they're, yeah.
So
And Miss Appleby, you're down at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Right. You don't get grandfathered in. But anyway, I want to thank you, and I think we can be creative and out of the box for this very small section of Old Albany Post Road. We want to make it no parking to the dead end, because then it turns to Quaker Bridge Road. We want no parking on Quaker Bridge Road, because that's when you have the summer traffic, and we have issues like that. So we hear you. We knew you'd be out. We thank you for coming out tonight. It's a gorgeous night. Yeah, absolutely, sir.
Excuse me. Mike, I just want to, Mr. O'Connor,
Thank you. I prefer that than Mike. It's Michael.
I just want to ask, have anybody looked into speed bumps?
All right, with speed bumps, and by the way, in Nassau, in the Bahamas, don't take this wrong, Kevin, but they refer to speed bumps as sleeping policemen. All right, that's what they call them down there, sleeping policemen. We have our town attorney here, and the town attorney can talk to you. As soon as you change a road, you're liable. You've changed the characteristic road. If you put in speed bumps, and I've seen speed bumps in various places here in Westchester County and in other states, and some are humps, some are you come up and there's a landing strip and then you come down again so you don't scrape the bottom of your car. I've seen various iterations of the construction of speed bumps. When somebody's coming down and they're unaware and they're tired and they hit that speed bump and they go off the road because now you put a speed bump, now you've changed the characteristic of this road. And there's where the liability issue to the town of Austin occurs. You can put up the signage, but now you don't have a flat road anymore. You have a road that has, and they can go out and monitor the traffic, count the traffic, they can do all of these things, and you put a speed bump in. So before you just say you want to put a speed bump in, it takes a lot of thought and a lot of analysis and some legal research to analyze whether or not you ever want to do a speed bump. And that's my comment on
We
speed
only
bumps.
asked you about a speed bump.
Okay. I just,
You know what? Look,
I just want to say one thing to the people here. When we did this, and the supervisor touched on it, we did this, and we looked at all the roads, we said, this is where we're going to see the people come out, right here. We predicted it. We said, this is the road that we're going to see it.
but the portion of the road.
The portion of the road. And we have, because if the road is narrow, your house was built in, hold on, the road 1880, and up the road from you on Quaker Bridge Road, we have an old inn up there that was a stop on the Underground Railroad before the Civil War. And it was, we have real historic homes in this area. And we know that the road was the Stagecoach Road. This was the old Albany Post Road. This is how you got from New York to Albany. And now the width of the road is such that if we had parked cars on either side or both sides, we're limiting the width of the road. And that's our analysis. That's all that's predicating us here. We're willing to work with anybody about parking where their tires are on the fog line or within the fog line. That's okay to us, and I believe that's okay to us. What we're looking at is the safe convenience of travel of vehicles. And as far as the speeders, every one of you, I can tell you more stories. We're working up there in the S-turn, and I think there's helicopters making a TV video for BMW when they go wow through that S-turn, and I'm going,
Okay.
where are they going? So you're right. You don't have to say any more. There are speeders on that road. I'm sorry, Lieutenant, but they're
And
there.
that would be great for law enforcement.
Yes,
Take a
it will.
look at.
So I don't know if you guys have met Kevin Sylvester, who's our lieutenant, who is assigned to be our liaison with the with the unincorporated part of the town, which you know you're all in. And what we'll do is we will definitely talk about putting a detail up there for a while, maybe those little ones that says slow down, you're going 50 and and we know the dangerous curves up there. We know we have the S-turn. We know we have where it turns into Quaker Bridge Road and stuff. So we'll definitely look at that from a
One
motor
final
vehicle.
note on Old Albany Post Road. Old Albany Post Road is one of only 2 roads in the town of Ossining that has a weight limit. It's a weight-limited road by the town. It's in the town code. So
What's the weight limit?
that's another
You
thing.
know it?
5,000 pounds, the entire road.
I just want to ask, I got the gist of the sleeping policeman. I understand that one, but if you have speed bumps, it will make people slow down. Now, I know I do a lot of travel over in Rockland County, they don't have them big humps. They have a wide pipe.
Yes.
Now, maybe, I'm assuming that's a heavy policeman sleeping. But the thing, when this, now, like, I know what we're talking about. I went out there in my van, and I backed out of there. That's when that road was broken,
Oh, the dead end.
that dead end area, and I promised not to go back there until that was repaired. And that was 2-3 years ago. Yeah, I know. I've
we
been
know.
I've been back. I've been back. But what I'm saying is, if you said we've changing the contour of the road, that we put in a new road.
No, they're not on that section of it. They're before the dead end. So they're those houses that are very, very close to the road, very close to the road. They have the little bump outs. Some of them park in little bump outs. Some of them park with two wheels on the road. When we go up there again, I'll show it to you, but it's before the dead end. The dead end would still be no parking on both sides of the road. So,
Okay, that's
yes, Lieutenant.
First off, police officers don't sleep ever.
Just in case.
We're going to have some clarification going here now.
But just a thought that before we get into speed bumps and speed humps, and traffic calming is a science in itself, and there's a lot of different techniques we can look at. One thing I would recommend and that we can do to help is that before we get into building structural changes into the roads or doing stuff like that, parking issues aside, that we can take a look at it with some police officers up there and some real live stuff before we get into pouring concrete and things like that. So probably the best thing we can do, I'll leave a stack of business cards before you guys leave. You guys can send me emails and stuff like that. We'll work together and see how we can sort of slow traffic down, and that'll at least ease that end of the problem.
Great.
Thank you.
Does anybody else want to speak?
so moved.
Aye. I truly want to thank you all for coming out tonight, because I think that was very important. We've heard from a lot of you. We've gotten letters. We've gotten phone calls from you. We understand that there's an issue. I mean, we went up there beating the bushes looking for a place. But no matter where we looked, it was still you walking on the road. And that seemed to be scarier than, because while you say the road isn't that thin, it's very windy, very curvy. And even when we were backing in and out of places, we were scared. Anyway, so I want to thank you all for coming. You're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. We're going to have a lovely conversation now on our MS4 report, are we not, sir? Thank you, and we'll be in touch, okay? Thank you very much.
An emptier room.
I know.
Yeah.
Also, Mary Ann?
Yes, we'll move on to our special presentation with Mike Ritchie from Adolph Engineering, review of the MS4 report for 2014 and 15.
Thank you. Pleased to be with you this evening. This is our annual opportunity to share some stormwater quality ideas and report to the state on your activities over the period from March of 2014 to March of 2015. As I think most of you are aware by now, the town of Ossining operates its stormwater collection system and discharges water to waters of the United States under a general permit. And that general permit is a state permit that is a result of a delegation of authority from the federal government to the state to implement the terms of this permit. Just as a side note, the permit had been under challenge recently over the last couple of years by environmental groups who felt that the state had misinterpreted the federal legislation and had wanted to make some changes in how the Clean Water Act of 1972 was being implemented. The appeals have now been exhausted, and the DEC permit has been confirmed as consistent with the federal legislation.
That
So
is great news.
we are,
It's not that we don't take the environmental issues very, very seriously, but it can also go to,
we were all concerned that the alternative,
Right.
which we didn't yet know what it would be,
Right.
would be even more costly. And
but we do care about the
we
environment.
certainly do. And the permit stays in effect for the town as long as you continue to implement your 6 minimum measures under the terms of the permit. Briefly, minimum measure 1's public education. You have a website in conjunction with sources, a variety of sources for good information and education out to your community members. Certainly the internet, computers are pretty well established as a primary means of communication, and we support that. The state recognizes it, and in addition, where there is an opportunity to interact with the public in a positive way on stormwater quality, whether it be a handout, a sign, a kiosk, those are all areas that are available to you as well, and they're reported on under minimum measure number 1. Minimum measure number 2 is public participation. They're often lumped together, 1 and 2, because they are the manner in which you are interacting with the community, whether it be by the website or by direct contact. And in the participation category are cleanup events, activities of that sort. When you have a community event, to take advantage of the opportunity to get some. Over the years, the county has made available to municipalities some handouts, the doggy bags, the poop bags, if you will.
And we have our Stash the Trash Day, we have our Earth Day, and we supply poop bags
You're in
our parks.
You're out there on water quality when the
Yeah.
opportunity.
And we're doing something at the Village Fair this year, too. So.
Right. On the minimum measure 3 are illicit discharges. All your outfalls are mapped.
Mm-hmm.
Your catch basins are mapped. Your manholes are mapped. GIS coordinates. You know where to look if you have a problem. Your village or your town staff, Michael, has a list of outfall locations that he inspects every year. That's being reported on. And then 4 and 5 deal with construction sites. If you have a disturbance of on a construction site of an acre or more, you have a responsibility to have a SWIP, what's called a SWIP, a Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan. That's by design. That's added to the site plan review process, and then it is very strictly inspected periodically over the course of construction to see that the construction site is any runoff is free of pollutants, particularly sediment or floatables. And finally, you have good housekeeping. Good housekeeping is you are expected as the municipality to be the model citizen, so that your garage site is routinely inspected, where the drains from the garage maintenance area go, how hazardous materials are stored and disposed of. Those elements are included in the report as well. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to have a very early morning with Michael tomorrow. We have staff from the town.
Oh, I think he's
Somebody
locked
can't
out.
get in.
Yeah.
It's so early for his
staff from the town coming to the village of Sleepy Hollow to participate in a 3-community training session for to cover their responsibilities under minimum measure 3, illicit discharge, and minimum measure 6, good housekeeping.
We have both representatives from the Highway Department and the Parks Department going with Mr. O'Connor to the training tomorrow.
Right.
May I ask a question before you go on? Because the stormwater prevention plan portion, you said that throughout, that's for 1 acre above construction. Is that what you said?
1 acre. The SWIP requirement applies to construction sites of 1 acre of
Or more.
disturbance
Of disturbance.
or more.
And who is it that goes and checks periodically throughout whatever?
Typically, the developer or owner has a representative that is charged with the periodic inspection, and then the municipality sees that that is being done. They oversee the developer's representative.
Right. Building department.
And those inspections could be as frequent as every 2 weeks. Silt fences are particular concern if they're not doing their job. Areas where truck access the site and the wheels collect the dirt, and that should be a washdown area that's maintained to keep the sediment off the roads and out of the catch basins. So those are elements. Hay bales at the catch basins where the stormwater comes off the site. Those are all elements of a SWIP.
Thank you.
I'd be happy to try to answer any questions.
I have a question.
We meet periodically with Michael, with the supervisor, with the staff, building department, engineering department, to review and update your activities.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Like, what if any responsibility does the village of Ossining, Barcliff Manor, and the unincorporated area have in view of the spill, recent spill? Do we have any responsibilities with regard to that?
Oh, it's Indian Point, the oil that spilled.
Yeah. My sense is that it did not come, that's a highly regulated federal site. It's not an installation that you have any ongoing direct responsibility for. So I'm certain that you're covered with the state on top of that. As a matter of fact, they were there to do the booms and the containment area pretty much right away. But I don't think the local government would have jurisdiction.
And it's in
on it.
Cortland, too. Yeah.
No.
Thank you.
No.
We just don't want it to float down.
No,
at
I
the-
know. I
yeah.
know. That's
It was a
very,
terrible accident, but
very challenging.
yes.
Okay.
You had you identified 6 measurements,
Minimum measures is how they're referred to, right?
and did you get through all 6?
6, yes. The sixth was the good housekeeping.
Okay. Got it.
That's when you were locked outside, Michael.
Okay.
So we're very happy. We've since 2012, Mike has been doing this with us.
Thank
our
you.
MS4 report.
Thank you. We have good working
We have good
relations.
meetings, right, Michael?
Right.
G. O'Connor? And we want to thank you for all the work you do. And he stays on top of us. He makes sure we do all of our outreach programs. And we're Tree City again this year, so we have lots of good things going on.
Wave the flag.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Move on to announcements.
Yes. What a great time it is here in Austin. The weather has been beautiful. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mike, Mr. O'Connor, you don't have to come by. I just wanted to tell you thank you, and you know, I don't know, but you doing a great job And I can see it, and I know everybody else sees it. So just,
Thank you, sir.
Just thank you. That's
Thank you very
all.
much.
I do want to just say that Michael will be at our work session next Tuesday. We're going to talk about our commitment to pave roads, and we're going to be talking about the roads that we're going to be paving. He's got a good plan together. So.
And just it was touched on, the bus is leaving tomorrow morning at 5 after 7. We're going down to Sleepy Hollow with the Highway and Parks crew for our annual stormwater training that we are required to take.
Yep.
So.
And we're glad to be participating with other communities. Too.
Yes, it'll be, which is good because you get a little flavor of the people talking about, their particular problems and everything else. So, again, not to hold you up, thank you very much.
No, thank you, Michael.
Actually, may I? Michael G.
Let's see how many times we can make him run back.
Yeah. With the large public outpouring tonight in response to the proposed parking regulations, I was distracted. I had intended to also echo Northern's comments that I greatly appreciate your focus and attention on the parking issues in the town, and in general, I'm just very pleased with your presentation and providing us insight onto some of the highway issues that have developed over the last few months. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Now get back as far as there.
Get to know what we call you again.
Anyway, okay, one more time.
Okay.
What a great time it is here in Ossining. The weather has been beautiful, and the leaves have appeared out of nowhere, right? There was no leaves, and then there were leaves. I am sure those with tree allergies appreciate that the pollen has came and went. We have so many great community activities going on. This past weekend, for instance, we had a great Stash the Trash river sweep, along with a variety of ball games and, of course, Mother's Day celebrated in so many restaurants and backyard barbecues. It was nice to have a day dedicated to family. We also have a great many things happening in the town of Ossining. Our planning board completed the scoping document for Highview Farms, also known as 123A, B, and C, Morningside Drive and Barnes Road. After several public sessions with a tremendous amount of input from residents, the Environmental Advisory Committee, the EAC, the planning board, and our consultants, we have a document for the developer that satisfies the concerns of all the residents in the town of Ossining, but especially the neighborhoods surrounding the proposed development. Now it is up to the developer to prepare the DEIS, the Draft Environmental Impact Statement, which responds to all of the issues and concerns outlined in the scoping document, including an analysis of alternatives to the developer's proposed cluster subdivision. After a short break, the planning board will continue to meet with developers on their agenda to review other opportunities in the town of Ossining. On the agenda this evening, the town board will be voting to sign a proposal for a wetlands consultant, Mr. Stephen Coleman, to assist the planning board on a specific project. Artis Senior Living, LLC, a business focused on memory care, and they are looking to develop a facility on 553 North State Road in Ossining. There are other projects and developments in the pipeline, and we encourage our residents to participate in the process. As you might be aware, we are in the process of completing our review of the vision portion of our comprehensive plan. And one of the items that we are looking to update is a notification policy of any item before the planning board. We are looking to expand the notification of any action being taken from 200 feet to 500 feet. This is just one of the items in front of us. Our action plan for all the changes and a copy of the revised comprehensive plan are on the web page. There is a tremendous amount of information on the web page because the town board and administration believes in being transparent. If you have any issues on finding anything on the site, feel free to call us at 762-6001, or better yet, just email us at sdonnelly@townofossining.com. So we can return the email with a link to the information for which you are searching. No one is perfect, and occasionally there is errors or omissions on the town webpage, but we appreciate it when people bring items to our attention. Having more eyes on the process only makes us all better. The lawsuit concerning election districts 17 and 20 is coming to a close. The Village of Briarcliff Manor has instructed their attorneys to take all necessary steps to discontinue the pending court action in a resolution passed on May 6, 2015. While preparing the 2015 budget, the town decided to split the expenses 50-50 between the unincorporated area budget and the town general budget for the 2015 year. The legal fees that we, the town of Ossining, have incurred in total to date is $54,614.13, which goes back to June 2014 when we first contracted outside counsel. The amount charged so far in 2015 through March 30th billing is $25,340.86. Of which is included in that $54,614.13. However, this does not count the other expenses such as mailings, transcripts from meetings, our planning consultant, and all the time and energy dedicated by town staff to do annexation research. We will have a complete accounting available once we get our final bills from the attorneys. The next step in the process would then would have been to begin depositions, which would be extremely costly for both municipalities. After the final accounting, we will reallocate the budgeted funds in both the town general and the unincorporated budgets to accomplish some of our goals for 2015. On today's agenda, we had 3 public hearings, of which the Cabaret had no comments. Community Choice Aggregation had a couple of comments, and the amendments for no parking regulations in the town of Ossining had comments from the Old Albany Post Road dead end, a certain section of that road, which we have spent quite a bit of time at recently. We will be referring the revisions of the vision portion of the comprehensive plan to the Town of Ossining Planning Board and Westchester County as required by law. But we will also go a step further by referring it to the Environmental Advisory Committee, giving them all over 30 days to review it and submit for comments. We will be appointing 2 new members to the Environmental Advisory Committee, both of whom have been interviewed by the current chair and who are highly qualified to work with our existing members. As we move forward and make some changes to our town code, we plan to look to the EAC for suggestions, recommendations, and research that these dedicated volunteers perform as a service to this community. We take our safety very seriously, and confined space training is at the top of the list. We will authorize signature for a contract with Start Group, a company with whom we have worked with in the past and who all of our Teamsters found approachable and informative. We are very pleased with their work last year, and they have extended last year's pricing to us for 2015. We will be passing a resolution to piggyback on a contract passed by resolution by the Village of Ossining for LED lighting throughout the community. Both communities are piggybacking on a contract with the City of New Rochelle. We have looked into another company, but they did not respond to our request for proposals with the information that we required to do a comparison. Also, we have an IMA with the Village of Ossining to do our streetlights. We will be bonding these payments, allowing us to stretch out payments for the reassessments from a 5-year payback to an 8-year payback through bundling our payments. We will also be saving 2% interest, which we feel will pay for any incidentals on the project. There are many other exciting programs, discussions, and opportunities ahead of us, and we would encourage each of you to come to our meetings, watch us on government television, or read the Town of Ossining webpage for more detailed information of anything that's in front of this town board. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk.
Are there any other announcements? Okay, not hearing any. We will move on to public comments on agenda items. Would anybody like to comment on any of the agenda items? Board resolutions. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby approves the April 28th, 2015 minutes of the regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Bless you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated May 12th, 2015, the amount of $1,044,932.11. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Just want to make a comment on that. We are paying our first village police bill in that. Part of the contract negotiations was we do not collect our taxes till the month of April, and so our contract was the first few months we would pay after our tax collection.
Can I point out my observance that this is a lower first payment than we have had in the
Oh,
past?
this is all our bills. But we're paying monthly after this point, so it's.
Oh, I
With
see.
the county, we pay twice a year.
Right.
In the village, we pay it as part of our whole IMA contract stuff, but they
Got it.
let us go for 4 months because we have to wait till, right? 5 months, right? Yeah, May.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you, village, please.
All those in
We collect-
favor?
well, April.
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas the town of Ossining and its residents have participated in a series of meetings regarding the 2002 adopted comprehensive plans and have suggested some revisions, and whereas these revisions have been vetted by the town's engineering consultant and the town attorney, therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby refers the revisions to the comprehensive plan to the town planning board for mandatory review and comments. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second?
I have a question.
Second.
So this is just to send it to the planning board, and then after that, we will be having
Public hearings.
public
Yeah,
hearings?
this is just for
Okay.
their, if you look at the action plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, is the action plan on the website, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the website has that information.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is just the first
For
step.
those who haven't been on the website and just asking.
No, just, this is the first step, is having the planning board look at it.
And were these, I mean, just for clarification, I think for out there, these were really about reviewing suggestions that had not been previously implemented versus a deep, like,
Right.
the haul of the comprehensive plan, correct?
Well, this was the visionary portion, so it was the vision portion. So it was not the first portion of the comp plan, but rather it was the what to expect for, what do we want our community to look at, like in the future, and some recommendations, right?
Can I ask, I don't, well, I guess I'll ask when we come to the public meeting part, because I had some questions about it myself. Really simple ones, like there was some versions in there where it said that we would do things in conjunction with other municipality districts, and then it was taken out for others, and I didn't know quite why.
Right.
Why there were differences.
Because it was at one point, and I'll just answer this question, and then we'll.
Yeah.
At one point, the comprehensive plan read, the town along with its villages, and everything said the town along with its villages. And we took out along with its villages because, one, they both have their own comprehensive plan, and two, we're talking about our comprehensive plan is talking about the unincorporated area.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Thank you.
Yeah, so we just wanted to make sure that people understood it wasn't, that we weren't
Wasn't everybody.
absolutely
Right.
forcing anyone to do anything that was not, that we had no jurisdiction over, right?
Got it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the town board hereby appoints Angela Russo Ossing to serve a 5-year term on the town's Environmental Advisory Committee, set to expire on December 31st, 2019. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the town board hereby appoints Michael Newhouse Ossing to fill the remainder of an unexpired term on the town's Environmental Advisory Committee, set to expire on December 31st, 2017. Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossining hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign a contract with Start Group of Bloomingdale, Illinois, for a confined space training course to be held in June of 2015 in a form acceptable to the town attorney. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the town supervisor is authorized to accept a proposal by Stephen W. Coleman to provide professional services in the form of wetlands consulting in connection with the pending application before the planning board by Artist Senior Living LLC to develop a facility at 553 North State Road, Ossining, in a form acceptable by the town attorney, with all fees for said services being billed to the applicant and paid through the escrow for consultants established by the applicant. Do I have a motion?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the town supervisor is hereby authorized to accept a proposal from Lumens Light Solutions LLC, 969 Midland Avenue, Yonkers, New York, and execute an agreement with a total value not to exceed $190,000 for professional services in connection with the audit, inventory, installation, and purchase through a bond for LED lighting, having the specifications that are satisfactory to the Town of Ossining Board, and the monitoring of energy savings, subject to the review and approval of said agreement by the Town Council, with the cost of said services to be funded from energy savings realized by the Town of Ossining. This agreement further complies with the Town of Ossining procurement and bidding policy and General Municipal Law Section 103 through the piggybacking of this contract on the accepted unit price agreed to by the City of New Rochelle, bid package Section 3 and 4. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a question and comment. I realize I wasn't here last week, and I apologize for not being at the work agenda, and I did watch it. I think I have said this before. I'm wondering why we are bonding it. And I just wonder, there aren't too many options for us to pay for things outright. Clearly, our infrastructure projects tend to be expensive, and there are very good reasons for getting those things done and for bonding them out. And I'm not saying that $187,000 is not a lot of money. This is for the unincorporated. Our part of the piggybacking with the village is for the unincorporated town. And I understand that we are going to be fixing roads. I think those are probably I don't know what the plan is yet, but I'm glad we're going to finally start. And I'm sure it's going to be expensive. But I just wonder why we're not paying this in a sense so that we're not, my understanding is now we're talking about not just bonding it possibly with the company and getting the support, but now bonding it and rolling it in with the re-eval payment, the second re-eval payment, so that we're extending that as well.
Well, it gives us the ability to extend that from 5 years to 7 or 8 years.
I understand that. I mean, I do understand that. I'm concerned about the way that things look. We clearly know how it is with respect to budgets and what the state has been doing to the municipalities in terms of staying within. You know, we have a lot of things that are starting to get bonded. You know, we have the old Albany Post Road thing. I know we've gotten money from FEMA. We may get some more money from FEMA. We're not quite sure yet. You know, we have this re-eval, which is a significant amount of money. And you know, previous bonds that we're still paying off. I'm just wondering why not.
I just want to make it clear that our bond proportion is much lower than other municipalities, that what we have out there.
I'm not saying anything.
The decision to, actually, the decision is going to be when you see the proposal from Michael next year. What we decided to do was to put some money into contingency. Then we also have some CHIPS money, and the roads, which is over $300 and something thousand, will be paid for direct without bonding. So it was, you know, we talked about this at length with the board, that we wanted to do some road work, get some road work done this year, and we have dedicated that money that we were over, that we have in the contingency for that. Bonding rates are coming in unbelievably low. This is less, it's a 2%, it will be less than 2% versus a 4% from the company for leasing. And we talked about it at length last week, and I thought Tom explained it pretty well to us.
I thought that was the reason, because of the low interest rate.
Right.
In fact, that's what I thought telling us.
Right.
I mean, I spoke to him today, and I think there are lots of ways of looking at this. On one hand, the 2%, but then it's extending the payment for the reval. I'm concerned about what that looks like later down the road. If when we kick the can down, sometimes that can be concerning. We don't know what the world is going to look like later.
It's only 2 years. We're only extending payments on the reval for 2 years. We're not kicking the can down the road. We're just extending payments. So, yeah.
Extending it, okay. The other thing is, we were talking about different ways of looking at this. The other thing is the 4% is clearly higher by the company. At the same time, the payment would be paying off the savings, right? It's not having to pay up front. It would be coming, after the savings. That's how they do it.
Yeah, but it's just like if you were to pay out anything in advance, you would get you're still going to get the savings.
I'm just
Still gonna
saying
get
that
the savings on your electricity
the
bill.
options are, and the whole issue of, I understand it's $12,000 we would pay over if we bond it. It's $24,000 if we pay it, if we bond with them.
Okay.
We're getting we would be getting assistance service, and I think the only service that made sense to me, I think, was if they would be tracking what we have not tracked, which is, are we getting the right service from Con Ed? So I'm all for this project. I am very much for LED. I think we're going to save money. I think it's great for many of the reasons you all discussed last week.
Right.
I'm not comfortable with the thought. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with how we're paying it. I think that's I guess the rest of the board has determined that this is what they want to do, and that's it. That it is bonding 2% on our own, extending reval for 2 more years, and that's what you all.
Well, it doesn't. It just levels off our payment on the reval. It helps us with all our bond payments. We want to make it perfectly clear too that we have put away extra money this last year too to prepay down all the notes by 2017 on the police station, the 507 North State
Right.
Road. So we have, as compared to others, and we'll make a presentation on this at the work session next week. I want to make it clear that we don't have that much bonded out there. What we might do is one of the things that when we went for this, we were looking at the different things to bonding. We looked at, we're buying 2 of these transit cars. It may be that we use the money that we saved from our lawsuit to buy those 2 cars instead of bonding that out. So I just want to, one of the things that we do is we're watching this budget constantly. We have a good record of making sure that we're very fiscally conservative, so this just seemed to be when Tom was explaining it to us, we were looking at ways that the whole reassessment is going to cost $1.8 million. So we have been looking for ways of extending those payments out so that you don't hit the taxpayers with it. We want to have 7 years or 8 years instead of 5 years, and it's just giving us a longer time to do the payments. So it's. But what we will do is we will show everyone exactly where we are. We have a very low debt ratio, and we just want to get some stuff done. But I want to make it clear that when we meet with Michael next week, we have calculated that out of our contingency funds and everything, and our CHIPS money, that once we do all the roads that we've agreed to, we've already had the people out there, we've already had them look at it. Michael's going to be making a presentation to this board next week that will be paid out of contingency. We're not looking to bond any of that road work, which is 5 to 6 significant roads, one of them being Stormytown Road. So, so we have some nice projects coming.
So, Councilwoman Jeffrey, since you asked if each
I am
council
asking.
member,
Yes, I am.
I don't want to lose the opportunity to respond. Just having heard a variety of compelling reasons, I think bonding at a very low rate is a better idea than using up money that's in our reserves to fund this. I think for all the reasons that were stated, but maybe I can just sum up the reasons that I think are important is that, we want to use the money that's been earmarked for paving to do that. So while we have available money, let's use the money for that desperately needed paving. I think the very low cost to bond now makes it almost a no-brainer, but with the explanation from our comptroller that this is the right way to go, I think, especially for things like budgeting and allowing stability in our budgeting, when you bond something and you spread out the payments, it allows for budgeting and taxpayers aren't hit with a roller coaster ride of expenditures. And neither is the board hit with these, the unknowns that go with large expenditures from time to time. So, and I do share the potentially growing consensus on the board to use available funds to do things like buying automobiles outright. I would support something like that, even though that's not really a part of the discussion. So
Well, it looks like we'll have the funding for that now, so, where we
Yeah, and if I completely hear you. I'm not comfortable, and so that might just change how I feel, how I vote. It's just I haven't been able to work it through, but it's not to be, I just want to vote in a way that I'm comfortable. I'm not comfortable.
So just to put it in perspective, Madam Supervisor, correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes mortgage rates, when you're borrowing money from an institutional lender, you have to pay something like, 5, 7, or even higher percentages.
Right.
In fact, it wasn't a bond that was offered by the vendor in this case. It was actually a lease program, and they were offering 4%, which is still low by lending standards, even in this market. That's a pretty decent rate. But to be able to bond the money and to access money at even half of that is even far better than any other option out there, other than using our own money, which we don't have to. And for the reasons that I said earlier, I think that bonding at this low rate seems
We have also had. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
okay.
you.
No,
we have also had extensive conversations with the people at Lumen Lighting, and we are a very, very small portion. I'm going to give you an example, and I'm going to just average it out, of 1,200 light fixtures in the village of Ossining, and we have 340. Right. So a very, very low portion of this. This is something that they want to do as one big package, and so they understand why we want to bond our end and we don't want financing, and they were very cooperative in saying that they would work with us on anything that we have. At the end of this project, we will have a complete inventory of our lighting. We will already be at that point that we're not at right now. So we think that will work fine. She also said that, should something happen, your lights are all under warranty for 10 years. So this is a whole different world for us, having LED lighting for 10 years. But should a car hit a telephone pole or something, she said she would surely work with us because we're such a small portion of a big job that they're doing. So she was very, very helpful in our discussions. So.
And also, I just want to point out that not only is this, in general, a great opportunity for savings to our taxpayers, but it's also part of the, a greener Ossining. I think there's a great opportunity here for conservation, for better usage and efficient lighting of our municipality. So it's actually, aside from saving money, it's a great opportunity for the board to continue on our path down a greener Ossining. So
I do want to, excuse me one second. I do want to make one other comment. Somebody had written me an email and it said that they went to do lighting and they spent $200,000 on the lighting and their savings was going to be $200,000. Our savings is estimated to be at $46,000 a year. The difference between the two is municipalities pay so much less for electricity. So a $46,000 savings in electricity will surely pay that bond payment too. So that's another reason.
I am all for the project. That's not at all my issue at all. I'm so for this project. I think it's great.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Correspondence to be received and filed. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby accepts the following: the Town Zoning Board of Appeals decision minutes dated March 30th, 2015. Town Zoning Board of Appeals decision minutes dated March 30th, 2015. Town Planning Board minutes dated March 25th, 2015. And the Town Planning Board minutes dated April 8th, 2015. And just before
moved.
someone asks, the first two those are two different projects.
I said, what are we doing? We're having deja
Well,
vu
that,
here.
I knew somebody, so I figured that's why I have a motion.
Yep. Well, okay.
Jeff moved, I'll second.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Monthly reports. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby accepts the following monthly reports for the month of April 2015. Town Clerk's Office, Town Building Department, Town Supervisor's Office, Dale Cemetery, and the Tax Receiver's Office. Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That brings us to visitor recognition. Is there anyone who would like to address the board?
Hey, hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, Town Board. I just was
Tell
here.
us who you are.
Say who
My
you
name
are.
is Dana Levenberg, and I just came from Board of Education, our final budget hearing before the budget vote, which is next Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. for the school district budget. And I just wanted to mention that on camera here, since some people watch your meetings, some people watch our meetings, and just to let you know that we have stayed within the required tax cap and identified 1% of savings moving forward. So hopefully that will result in a positive comptroller's result so that the taxpayers can receive a level tax bill for next year. They'll get a refund like you did this year because the school district stayed within the tax cap. So I just wanted to encourage people to come out and vote from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. next Tuesday, May 19th, in the Ossining High School auditorium. And if anybody ever has any questions, you can either call me, call the school district, or email me at Levenberg D. I have so many emails, I forget which one is which. D. Levenberg at ossining.k12.ny.us. That's the one. D.
Wait,
Levenberg.
and there's also the library board, right? The
There's
library
also
budget.
a library vote, and there's a vote for Board of Education trust. Are we on trustees?
Board,
Yes.
school board members.
Board of Education trustees, as well as library board trustees. So I encourage you all to exercise your right to vote.
Right.
And
And
wait,
I-
you said the auditorium, but it isn't.
Did I say the auditorium?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
gymnasium.
It's in the gymnasium. Thank you.
And just for our viewers that are in the Briarcliff school system, their vote is the same exact day, and it's in the Briarcliff High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all of the school
They
district
only have a
votes are
school
that day?
board, right.
All the school district votes are that day.
Yeah. And they only have a school board because their library is part of their village budget.
Right.
So thank you. And yes, I'm glad
Okay.
you came in and reminded us
Sure.
that voting is that day.
Okay.
It's Tuesday.
May 19th in the Ossining High School gymnasium from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay, so next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I now have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I just want to say one thing. I would like Maddie to announce that there is a blood drive at the library. Speaking of the library, is it Thursday?
The 14th, which is
The 14th?
what time? I just. And I did see.
Okay, while she's finding out when the blood drive is on Thursday, we want to invite everyone to the 100th commissioning day of the Ossining Boat and Canoe Club, and it will be May 17th, which is Sunday, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. They have a very nice veterans ceremony at the beginning of that service, and so we would like to invite you all. They asked me to invite you all down to the Ossining Boat and Canoe Club at 11 o'clock. They do a beautiful service where they throw a wreath out in the river, and then there'll be the commissioning day of the OBCC. It's the start of the season. So, and now,
It is on Thursday, May 14th, between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. at the Ossining Public Library, being hosted also by Phelps. And they warn you to please eat and drink plenty of water prior to donation and avoid caffeine. Bring photo ID.
And I have one last announcement, because this is live, right?
Yeah.
Next Thursday, which is May 20th, Senator Carlucci's office will be hosting Legal Services of Hudson Valley. They are an organization that provides free legal counseling for those who qualify. You can call his office at 941-2041 for information as to what sort of things they will review legally or take on in terms of cases and what qualification is. So again, they'll be there next Thursday, May 20th, and every third Thursday of the month.
Great. Anything else? So we want you to enjoy your week. There's a lot of things that are going on. We have posted now a lot of the different activities. We try to put it out in flyer format so it's easy to read. So please look at that. Or if you don't get our or I don't want to call it a web blast, but our supervisor's update, please look on our webpage. Everything that's posted in the supervisor's update is posted in the webpage. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next Tuesday. We will be at 16 Croton Avenue. I hope Dana can join us there, but she'll be waiting for the vote. But and make sure you vote next Tuesday for the library budget and the school budget in Ossining and the school budget in Briarcliff Manor. And have a wonderful week and enjoy this beautiful weather. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.